The response of the government to the war in Ukraine, I suppose we have to look at the government's political response and its humanitarian response. I think the response under both headings has been very good. I think it has been compassionate, and I think it has been accurate. When you look first of all at the political response, I think the government is to be commended for having identified unambiguously where fault for this war lies. It unambiguously lies with the expansionist and imperialist policies of Vladimir Putin's regime. It doesn't rest with any expansionism desire on the part of the EU. It doesn't rest with NATO expansionism. It doesn't rest with expansionism on the part of the United States. It unambiguously rests with Vladimir Putin's regime. The government has been very clear in emphasising that, and I commend them for doing so. I also think the government has been clear in identifying what's the solution. The only solution of this, or to this, is the removal of Putin's forces from independent Ukraine. And that has to be clear, and we need to reassert that unambiguously. Sometimes it can be difficult for a neutral state to be listened to when we're talking about an armed conflict. But let that not silence us, because I think we do come with a strong voice in the world, and we should unambiguously repeat the fact that he needs to remove his forces from independent Ukraine. I also think we need to look at the humanitarian response of the government to date, and it has been commendable. And that response reflects the view and charity of the Irish people. To date, we have accepted 15,000 Ukrainian refugees. As the Minister has indicated, that number is going to rise. I think we also need to be clear and honest with Irish people as well, though, that once the offers of accommodation have been exhausted, it is going to become increasingly difficult for the state to provide that level of accommodation. And probably we will find ourselves in situations where emergency accommodation is being provided in places that we wouldn't regard as being suitable. So, Minister, I think we need to be honest with the public in terms of the challenges that we face. Finally, I think when we look at the general response, we need to have a recognition and a respect for democracy. Democracy is in very infant stages throughout the world. If you look at the history of the world, democracy has only existed in countries for 100 years or so. When you look at what the poor Russian people have gone through for the past 400 years, they had 300 years of the Roman Tsars. They then managed to get rid of them, and it was replaced by the tyrannical Marxist-Leninist regime that ruined the lives of people and deprived them of human rights for 80 years. After that, they've been subjected to Vladimir Putin. I suspect the real fear that Vladimir Putin has is not the arrival of missiles into neighbouring countries, but it's the arrival of democracy into those countries, particularly democracy as epitomised by the European Union, and that's his biggest fear, and I wish democracy to the Russian people.